Hello friends, myself Dr. Nandakumar Rao Bawale from College of Engineering Ambazogai is going to deal about intellectual property rights. This is our third lecture in this concept. Coming to the previous lecture. So in previous lecture we have discussed about the objectives of international organizations. First, which we have discussed is objectives of international organizations such as Paris Union, UCC, WIPO, WTO, and so on. So the international organizations which work in the field of intellectual property also we have seen. Then after that we have seen agencies and treaties in the field of intellectual property. Which kind of treaties India has signed, that also we have seen. Then what is role of Berne Convention and where it was concluded. Then we studied about Universal Copyright Convention UCC, then Paris Union, TRIPS, and then we studied World Intellectual Property Organization. So now today we will discuss about importance of intellectual property, then scope of intellectual property, what is importance and what is scope, what is included in intellectual property, that we will be discussing. In short, we can call this as a subject matter of intellectual property. Then nature and characteristic of intellectual property, what kind of nature it consists of, what are the characteristics of intellectual property we will discuss. Then what are the objectives of intellectual property law, why this intellectual property law is framed, and what is the need, why we need the intellectual property law to organize or to have the proper control over the intellectual property. So now coming to the first bit, importance of intellectual property. Very first importance is creativity and innovation. What is creativity and what is innovation? So creativity is nothing but the output of a human brain, and if there are proper intellectual property laws, then proper intellectual property law encourages inventors, creators to invent and create new things. If there is no proper protection to the intellectual property, then inventor or creator is discouraged from creating new creations, new inventions. Therefore, this intellectual property law, if it is maintained and if it is there, if it gives sufficient protection, then inventor and creators are motivated or encouraged to invent new things. Then it offers protection to such owners. So if any inventor or creator has created any kind of intellectual property, and if there is a proper law on intellectual property, then such law protects the interest of those owners, those who have created intellectual property, or creators of intellectual property are protected by the intellectual property law. It prohibits unfair encroachment over rights of owner. If there is a proper intellectual property law, then there shall not be any encroachment over the rights of owner. And if there is no proper law, then anybody will copy, anybody can pirate the things which are created by the owner of that intellectual property law. If the enforcement is committed, law offers protection. If there is an encroachment, if anybody copies or steals or misuses any kind of intellectual property, and if there is a stringent law, then protection is given to such intellectual property. If there is no law, then there shall not be any kind of protection to the intellectual property, and that discourages inventor or creator to develop the intellectual property. And coming to law protects the reputation and honor of authors and patentees. If there is no law, then there will not be any kind of reputation. Society will not offer any respect to the creators. If there is a patent in your name, then society offers you honor, as well as there will be reputation in your society. If there is no law, then whatever invention or patent you have registered, then anybody can copy, pirate your work, and they can publish your work, or they can sell the product in market which is produced depending on your patent. So therefore the law protects reputation as well as honor of authors or patentees. It gives feeling of safety in the mind of authors and patentees. So if there is a proper law, then the authors and patentees will feel safe. Say for example, if there is no proper law in India, then people will have threat in mind to walk over the roads, and if there is a proper law, then there will not be any kind of threat in the mind of society or in the mind of people. Therefore proper laws are required for uh, proper feeling or safety feeling in the mind of authors as well as people. Coming to the next importance is generation of revenue. So this intellectual property helps us to generate or to have the to generate revenue in the sense monetary benefit, financial benefits. Revenue is earned by or from developed products. If any product is developed, by selling that product or a novel product in the market, we will earn money. That is nothing but it generates revenue. Then if we are going to generate certain revenue, then money will be in circulation in the market. That means market will be in boom, and market remains alive. If there is a new product in the market, then you will go there in the market to purchase some new product in the market. Therefore market remains alive and the finance will be in circulation and certainly create revenue. The intellectual property is having certainty to create revenue. If we have intellectual property, definitely it will produce a revenue, and that will help in growth of nation as well as the author. Then investment. Intellectual property promotes investment. So industrialists or maybe manufacturers will be encouraged to invest in those countries where the intellectual property norms are stringent. If they are producing some product and if they are guaranteed that their product may not be copied, then they will be encouraged to invest in that country. So monopoly rights are granted under laws strictly enforced. Say for example, some product you are producing, and that is a novel product which is not produced by any other industry, and you have certain designs and all. So if those designs are registered, and if the government or laws are protecting your designs from piracy as well as misuse of your designs, then you will have monopoly, and therefore you will be encouraged to invest in such countries where the laws on intellectual properties are stringent. And if laws are not stringent, then there is every possibility that someone will copy your designs and they will produce products similar to your product and may sell at lower cost, or they may compete to you by using your own designs. Therefore if a industry is assured that your designs are not going to be copied, then such industries or manufacturers will invest in such countries. The foreign investors are attracted because of this strict intellectual property laws. Laws are strictly enforced and adequate protection is given. If there are laws to protect intellectual property, then investors will be encouraged. Enforced and adequate protection is given. If there is no law, then there will not be any enforcement or adequate protection given to the intellectual property. Then enrichment of culture. So if there is a proper intellectual property law, then that encourages authors as well as the artist to create their work. And if they are going to create a good quality work, high quality work in literature, dramatic, musical, artistic, or cinematography films or sound recordings, then that will enrich the culture of country. That helps to enrich the culture of country. Therefore, it is also one of the importance of intellectual property, which helps in enrichment of culture of that country. If there are no proper laws, then there will not be development in the fields of intellectual property, such as literary work, dramatic work, musical, artistic work. Then there will not be any improvement or enrichment in the culture of that country. Now, discourages brain drain. What is brain drain? So now, if we study in detail, we find every year many engineers and doctors are migrating from India in foreign countries. Why they are migrating? Because they think that they have no scope, or they may not earn money in India. So this is called as a brain drain. Migrants of scholars, they are good doctors and good engineers are produced by India, but such good doctors and engineers are not staying in India just for the education purpose. They stay in India, and after getting education or training, they leave our country and migrate in other countries. And if such scholars get proper opportunity in India to earn money or to get benefits, then they will not move in other country. So this intellectual property laws, proper intellectual property laws will discourage brain drain. Brain drain in the sense the brainy people will not move in other countries, they will stay in India, or else the stringent norms on intellectual property will attract brainy people to enter in our country and to develop new creations. If law provide adequate protection to author work, then it may stop brain drain of such people. So such people may not move in other country. Instead of going to other country, such people will stay in our own country and will help in development of our country. Indirectly, it helps in revenue generation in our country. Scope of intellectual property rights. What is included in intellectual property? What is the subject matter of intellectual property? What comes under intellectual property? So first one is literary work. Literary work means a literature. Literature in the sense you are going to write a story, you are going to write a poem, you are going to write a script of a film, you are going to write a script of a drama, or you are going to do some invention and then you are going to write a research paper, or you are going to write a book. So all these are included in literary work. Then artistic work. What is the artistic work? So the things which are created by art in the sense it may be a picture, image, sculpture. So whatever you are going to create with the help of art, that is called as artistic work. It may be a dance, or it may be a rangoli, whatsoever it may be, that is called as a artistic work. Then scientific work, you are going to do some scientific work, or technical work, you are going to produce some new machine or new concept you are producing. That is nothing but new experiment you are going to do, and out of that some results you have obtained which are not obtained by anyone else. So that work, or you have done some scientific work to improve efficiency of a particular machine, then that efficiency, enhancement in efficiency, is nothing but a scientific work. So this is included in intellectual property. Then performing artists, phonograms and broadcast. So performing artist, in the sense the artists, that is the just you can say the actors, those who are going to perform in a particular way, then such artist, performance of such artists is also included in this intellectual property. Then broadcast and phonograms. Phonograms is nothing but a recording of the musical systems, or broadcast, the publication of a work on television as well as radio channels. So that is called as a broadcasting. That is also included in intellectual property. Inventions in the field of human endeavor. So inventions made with the help of human effort or human brain, that is nothing but inventions in all fields of human endeavor are included in intellectual property. So creations by the human effort are included in intellectual property. And scientific discoveries. So if anything is discovered, invention and discovery is different. Discovered in the sense something is already existing and it is not known to the world, so that is called as a discovery. And invention is nothing but you have obtained the things which are not existing in the world by using some technique, so that is an invention. Discoveries and inventions are different. So if you have discovered something which is not known to the society, and if it is scientific, that comes under intellectual property. Then industrial designs. So if you have obtained design of particular machine or something you have designed new which is not in the market, or even if it is in the market, but your design is something different from the existing designs, then such designs are included in such industrial designs are included in intellectual property. Then trademarks, so business marks. Then service mark. So Jio is having a service mark, GIO. They are service providers. Trademarks means business mark. So somebody is doing some business and he is having a symbol for that business, then that is called as a trademark. So every product is having its own trademark printed on it, that is called as a trademark. And service mark is nothing but a service provider gives a mark, that mark is known as a service mark. Then commercial names. Now Amazon is a commercial name. Then designations in the commercial field are included in intellectual property. Protection against unfair competition is provided under this intellectual property rights. All other rights resulting from intellectual activity in industrial, scientific, literary and artistic fields are included in intellectual property. So anything that is coming out of intellectual property in the field of industry, scientific, literary and artistic is included in the intellectual property. Then nature and scope, nature and characteristic of intellectual property. What is nature? So anything is having nature or characteristic. So for example, there are many more animals in the universe. So human being is also one of the animal, but it has got certain characteristics or something different, or it has got a special nature. So human has got a special nature or characteristic, that it has got a brain. So in the same way, properties or this intellectual property has got certain characteristics or nature. So first is incorporeal property. Intellectual property is incorporeal property. What is incorporeal property? Or it is non-corporeal. So it cannot be seen physically. So the property, intellectual property is non-corporeal, cannot be seen physically. It is not tangible. Intellectual property cannot be touched, or non-corporeal in the sense we cannot see or sense with our five sensory organs. So that property is non-corporeal or non-tangible. And it cannot be pursued by any of the sense. So out of five sense, no sense can make it or can detect its presence. Its physical possession is not possible. Say for example, you have a plot, you have a car, you can take its possession, but whereas the intellectual property cannot be taken under possession, physical possession. So that is one of the characteristic of intellectual property. As it is an incorporeal property, no one can take physical possession of intellectual property like plot, house, car. So you can take a car in your custody, but you cannot take intellectual property in the custody. One may acquire possession of copyrighted or patented work. For example, a book is written by author, so that book you can purchase, you can have the possession over that book or patented work, but it does not mean that you have acquired copyright or patent in copy of work. So this intellectual property cannot be acquired by physical possession. So ownership of intellectual property is represented by authorship, not by ownership. So it is not by possession. If you are going to purchase a book, then you may say that I have acquired copyright. You cannot acquire copyright. If for example a book is written by author and it is sold in the market, then you cannot translate that book in any other language, but you can own that book, you can use that book, you can donate that book to somebody else, you can burn, you can destroy, you can sell that book, but you cannot use that book to translate in some other language. So that is called as a incorporeal property, and this incorporeal property is hidden in authorship, not in its physical possession. You may have physical possession of the goods produced from intellectual property, but you cannot acquire that intellectual property rights. And it is indestructible. So the physical property, that is conventional property, can be destructed, whereas intellectual property cannot be destructed. Every conventional property is capable of destructing. Say for example, you own a car can be destructed, car can be burned out, car can be sold out, but this intellectual property cannot be destructed at any cost. So intellectual property is intangible, so it is indestructible. Space occupied by it is beyond destruction, so it has got a special characteristic, and never this intellectual property will be destructed. So here intellectual property rights are negative. What are the negative rights and positive rights? Say for example, there is a public road. You have the right over the public road to use it. So you are allowed to use that road. That is your positive right. That is called as a positive right. So intellectual property rights are negative, means say for example you own a car. So you have both negative and positive rights over the car. So what is the positive right? You have right to use that car, but as well as you have negative right also. Negative right in the sense you will not allow anybody else to use your car. So that is, do not allowing others to use your car is negative right, and using your own car by you only is positive right. So positive right as well as negative right is on physical property, whereas on negative property, on intellectual property you have negative rights. That means you will avoid others to use that intellectual property unless you assign it or you license them to use it. Owner of intellectual property has a right to prevent all others from its use. So owner of intellectual property can prevent all others from using this intellectual property. Say for example, you have a chemical formula to produce some medicine. So you can protect your formula, and you will prohibit others from using your chemical formula to produce that medicine. So you may use at your own, and you will produce the medicine and you can sell the product in market, but you will not allow others to use your formula to produce that medicine. That is nothing but negative right. All other persons under a corresponding duty to refrain from the violating all such rights. So that is nothing but corresponding duty. So when you have the rights over a intellectual property, at the same time it is the duty of all other person, all people, to not to violate your rights. So they cannot copy your product or your formula to produce product. Object of intellectual property law is to prevent authorized use of intellectual property. So only authorized person can use intellectual property, and that is made available by the intellectual property law. So by any other person, then owner cannot use that intellectual property. Say for example, there is a trademark. So trademark can be used by same company, and trademark of that company cannot be used by any other company. So that is nothing but the intellectual property, which you can restrain others to use that trademark. Say for example, you are producing a Nirma powder and you have your own trademark. So you will uh, avoid others, or you can restrain others from using your trademark and selling the product in your under your trademark. Then original form of property. Intellectual property is original form. That means you cannot copy intellectual property of others, or you cannot duplicate intellectual property of others, and you cannot say it as your own property. So here you can see a work to be called as intellectual property must not be copied. ये copy किया हुआ नहीं चलता है. It must not be duplicated. It should be a original work. It should be the brainchild of its owner. It must be brainchild. It means it has to born from the brain of owner. Then only it is intellectual property of the owner. Otherwise it will not be treated as an intellectual property of that person if it is copied. The work may originate from same idea. For example, ideas may be same, but it should be expressed in different manner. So the way of expression must be different. For example, patent. So there are many more patents on same product, but the ideas or manners they express it are different. So that is nothing but the work must be original. Copied work has got no value. Rights in intellectual property are for limited duration. So your intellectual property rights are protected for limited duration. Beyond that, so that will be made public available to common public. Intellectual property laws permit the exploitation of intellectual property for limited duration only. After that duration, so no protection is given. Anybody can copy your work and they can produce the product. Unlike conventional property can be owned for lifetime and generations to generations, but intellectual property cannot be owned throughout your life as well as generation to generation. The duration of exploitation of intellectual property is specific. Only for specific period this intellectual property is protected. It is not similar to the conventional property. Conventional property is protected for lifetime as well as generations to generation, but intellectual property is not protected. There are certain reasons why intellectual property is not protected for very long duration or generations to generation, that we will see. So its main balance between public and private interest. There will be public interest as well as private interest. In order to have public interest and private interest, this is protected for a limited duration. Say for example, right now the disease known as COVID-19 is going on. So if you are going to invent some medicine, so patent may be granted, but it will not be for lifetime. It may be for particular duration. So depending on the need of the result of your work, so the duration will be granted. So again, certain patents or certain inventions are not protected. Even government will force you to disclose or to assign compulsory assignments, or compulsory license have to be issued by the owner of intellectual property if your invention is of that necessity to the society or people. So depending on that, so intellectual property cannot be protected for very long duration. It is protected for a certain duration. Then rights in intellectual property are qualified. So this is very important. Qualified means not educated. That means something different. So doctrine of eminent domain applies to intellectual property. What is doctrine of eminent domain? So the eminent domain is sovereign power vested in the state. Sovereign power means supreme power vested in the state. So government has got a power to acquire private property for public use. So if you have a land, and if government wants to make the road from passing through your land, then government will forcibly acquire that land and will give you compensation. In the same way, if government wants the intellectual property that you have produced for public benefit or public use, then government can acquire your intellectual property. Say for example, today there is a threat of COVID-19, and if you are the scientist and you have produced some medicine to overcome this COVID-19, then if you register its patent, then government will acquire your patent and give you compensation and will utilize it for public benefit. So if the intellectual property is in favor of public health or public use or for public benefit, then government has got power to acquire your intellectual property, even just like a conventional property. Ultimate control over intellectual property rests in the state. State means government, so country or government. So intellectual property is under control of government. So in public interest, the state may acquire intellectual property from its owner, restrict its enjoyment. So government can restrict its enjoyment by paying some compensation. Government will acquire. Government will not acquire it free of cost, but it can acquire by paying some compensation. And if your invention is destructive, then also government will stop you from using your invention. If whether it is of benefit of it is for benefit of society or it is for loss of society, depending on that, government can impose restrictions over your intellectual property similar to the conventional property. That's why we call it as a doctrine of eminent domain. That means government has got powers. Multi-user in nature. Intellectual property is multi-user in nature. So if you have a car, so that car can be used by a single person or that family. So that car cannot be used simultaneously by many users. But intellectual property has got a characteristic that can be used by number of persons at a time. At the same time, many people can use that intellectual property. Say for example, cinematograph or a piece of music or literary work that can be enjoyed by many people at the same time. But this feature is not available in the conventional property. Just like motorcycle can be used by a single person. Same motorcycle cannot be used by many people. So that is the main nature of this intellectual property. It has got multi-user in nature. Then obligatory rights. what these obligatory rights are. Say for example, you have invented some new thing or medicine for COVID, say example. So if you have invented medicine for COVID, then as a owner, you are allowed to exploit that invention, but in proper way. So if you are not allowing anybody to produce medicine on your formula, then you are not exploiting properly. Or if you are charging too much over the invention, and that invention is useful to the society, then also it is not a proper exploitation. So you have invented something and your invention is not in the market, or you are not producing the material or product from your invention, then government will make you to issue compulsory license. The owner is forced to issue the license for exploitation. So if you are not able to produce product from your invention, then government will force you to give license to others to produce final product, which will be for the use of public or public interest and in emergencies also. So under certain circumstances, compulsory licenses are granted by proper authorities, that is the authorities of government, in public interest. If the invention that you have made is of importance and it is for public interest, or it is the output for emergencies, say for example COVID-19, then your product has to be produced in the market, or it is to be allowed to others to produce, then a owner of that intellectual property will be made to issue license in compulsory way to other people. The international conventions speak about granting compulsory license. So international conventions such as WIPO, Paris Union, UCC also are going to suggest that in such cases, if the output of your invention is useful to the society, then government can compel the intellectual property owner to give license to others to produce final product from your invention. Then it has got obligatory rights. Obligatory rights means rights granted under it shall be properly exploited. This we have discussed, I think. Then territorial laws in application and regulated by international conventions. The intellectual property laws concerned to intellectual properties are framed by the country, that is that nation. Say for example, in India, the laws concerned with intellectual properties are developed or implemented as developed and implemented by Government of India, but these laws which are framed in India by the Government of India are according to the international conventions such as UCC, Paris Union. So that are according to international conventions. So even those laws are framed by Government of India but are not as per the will of Government of India. Those laws have to be in line with the international conventions. Those laws which are developed by Government of India must should not violate international conventions, because India has signed international conventions. So intellectual property laws are territorial statutes. Territorial means in the jurisdiction of India, and these statutes means laws or rules which are framed by India only, but applicable within the country legislating it. So if India has framed laws related to intellectual property, such laws will be applicable only in India, but these laws which are framed by Government of India will be as per international conventions. It will not be as per will and wish of Government of India. Due to rapid progress, so what is happening, why these laws are required? Because of rapid progress in printing technology and improvement in means of communication such as internet and all. which led intellectual property to be easily pirated. So there is a chance of piracy. Easy. Now piracy has become very easy task. Earlier it was difficult because there was no mode of proper communication as well as technology was not developed. But nowadays technology is very advanced, and from that technology any work can be pirated very easily. Therefore, so these laws which a government is going to bring in force must be stringent. So enforces civilized nations to devise means of regulating intellectual property law at international level. So that means civilized country. So India is a civilized country. If you see, Pakistan is not treated as a civilized country because they do not have manners. So for such countries, other countries may not force in some cases, but for the civilized countries, the conventions or international regulatory bodies will force to create stringent norms on intellectual property laws, which will protect the interest of intellectual property owner. The objective of intellectual property. What is objective of intellectual property? It is the object of intellectual property law is twofold. There are two reasons to have the intellectual property law. The protection of rights of owners as well as rights of non-owners. That means it protects moral and economic rights and rights to reputation of creator. It protects moral, economic and rights to reputation of the creator or inventor. So at the same time, it protects rights of public in access to those creations. You have created some invention, and if you are not allowing others to use your invention, then your invention is of no use. So if there is a proper law of intellectual property, then your interest of owner of that intellectual property is to earn financial benefit as well as to promote their moral, as well as they will have the reputation in society. So along with that, their invention which they have created must be used by public. So if the invention is useful to the public, then public will have the proper access to the use of those creations. And you have created something and you are not allowing people to use your invention, then invention is of no use. So to bring your invention, your work to the benefit of society, the intellectual property laws will facilitate these things. The second is socio-economic development. So next objective of this intellectual property law is socio-economic development. Social development as well as economical development. It promotes the creativity. So if there are proper laws, the inventors will be promoted, or they will be, their moral will be boosted to develop some new things, and dissemination and application of its results, and encourages fair and trading, thereby contributing to economic and social development. So whenever you are going to do work, creativity and dissemination means it is a diffusion or distribution of your work into the society and application of its result. You have invented something, then that invention must be distributed or diffused in the society, and its application, whatever you are producing, that must be used, and encourage fair trading. Fair trading means proper business, thereby contributing, what it will do, contribute, or it will increase economic and social development of the nation. So these are the objectives of intellectual property law, which is having twofold object. Twofold means there are two uh, objectives or two benefits. The need of intellectual property law. Why we need intellectual property law? The first one is intellectual property is intangible in nature, which is not seen. It cannot be possessed and be taken in custody. We cannot take it in custody. like conventional property. And conventional property has got certain laws. Conventional property has got laws which are not sufficient to protect intellectual property, because intellectual property in nature it is intangible, as well as it cannot be taken in possession. In order to protect intellectual property, it should have some special kind of law. The laws must be something different from the conventional laws which are applicable for conventional property. Such laws are known as intellectual property law. So to have proper control over the use of intellectual property, some special laws have to be formed. Therefore, there is a need of intellectual property law necessary to protect intellectual property. Intellectual property is to be protected by using intellectual property law, as the intellectual property is powerful tool for economic growth. If you have many more intellectual properties, then it will allow your economic growth. So the country will make economic growth in that direction. It inspires creativity, innovation, and generating the revenue. So if you have proper intellectual property law, then it will boost the creativity of people, it will boost innovation, and it will generate revenue in that country. If you do not have proper intellectual property law, and if you are going to invent something and that invention is copied by somebody else, benefits are not given to the author, then authors or the owners of intellectual property will be discouraged. So therefore there is a need of intellectual property law. Then intellectual property law, if there is a proper intellectual property law, it promotes investment and enhances the culture enrichment. Then it prevents brain drain. That means brainy people will not leave your country, and brainy people from other countries will be attracted to your country. That means brain drain will be stopped and economic health will be increased. Means financially that country will become strong. It affects virtually all aspects of economic and cultural life. So it becomes an important component of business transaction. So if there is a intellectual property, many more intellectual properties are developed, then it will enhance the business or trade in that country. If there are many more intellectual properties, then many more products will be produced depending on that intellectual property. Final utilities will be produced, and from that business will be enhanced, or business transaction will improve. Society as a whole gets benefit by the intellectual property. That means industrialization may take increase, and other things will be benefited. Stimulates further creativity and competition of public interest. So it is going to enhance creativity. So if, say for example, you have invented something and you are getting some monetary benefit, then your friend will think that why I should not invent something new, so that I will also get monetary benefits. So that will stimulate people to develop creativity, and then they will get the similar or benefits from such creativities. Then intellectual property law assures healthy competition in two ways. Number one, it guarantees intellectual property's monopoly over commercial exploitation. So if there is a proper law, then it guarantees IPR owners to have monopoly. If it is your invention, then you will produce product and you will sell it in market. There will not be any competitor to you. So much of the benefit you can earn for a certain period. Then infringement of his rights is met with stringent penalties. Say for example, you are having your patent and you are producing some product out of your patent, and if someone is going to copy your patent, then he will be penalized if there are stringent norms. Therefore there is a need of stringent intellectual property laws in every country. So I hope you have followed today's lecture, and we will come with new next lecture where we will be covering about the types of intellectual properties in detail.